Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's the Mac, and welcome back to a Napoleonic battles. Jeez, that's hard to pronounce. The Republican Bayonets on the Rhine by Wargame Design Studios. Right, so this is going to be I've actually covered one of their titles in this huge franchise they got, and it's the Battle of Leipzig, which is actually far into Napoleon Bonaparte's career. So I've been wanting to do like a showcase and a let's play and let's say an exploration of these games because it's actually a warfare that I'm not very familiar with. I think I've said this before. The Napoleonic battles. I'm familiar with the actual tactics, I guess, but not so much with the history and all the campaigns and all the battles. I mean, it was so much shit going on there during all those years. Napoleon was ravaging through Europe and whatnot, and a very interesting time period for Europe as well, as it evolved from the totalitarian monarchy was challenged by the revolution. So I want to explore these games, man. I want to share them on my channel and play them and see what I find out in this great series. So I know this is actually a very popular series in Wargame Design Studios catalog, the Napoleonic Battles. It's got a huge following. Lots of historians and people who love this time period are playing these games, and there's lots about it on the different forums on the net concerning all this stuff, or concerning this era of warfare and Napoleon's rise from nothing to total emperor of France and the empire that France had at this time, and basically fighting the rest of Europe and the world, so to speak. So much stuff happened. Huge catalog of history here, man. I'm probably just going to scratch the surface of it. I want to explore the game as I do with all these titles. I showcase a battle, tactics, how to figure it out, how to duke it out, loving the input from the community and stuff like that. So it's gonna be a trip for me as well as for maybe some of you guys who are seeing this. I'm not very familiar and want to try this hugely successful series of the Napoleonic battles that Wargame Design Studio has. I think there's I'm just saying this at the top of my head. I might be lying to you, but there might be 15 or 15 titles, maybe 16 titles. I'm not sure. A lot. So I thought, where to start, man? So I said, what the heck, man? I'm going to start from the very first. I'm going to try and play these and showcase these games in historical order. So we can follow, Napoleon's rise and the French army and the conquests through the games, because that's basically how they're released. It's just following. You could basically start this game. This is the first. This would be the most earliest engagements of the Napoleonic era. I mean, this is the first sort of the war of the first coalition, and they're touching on the second coalition as well in this title, and all the famous battles and how France responded and how the rest of Europe at this time responded to what happened in France, the French Revolution, the overthrow of the monarchy, the mass slaughter of the rich and famous, so to speak, who were grabbing all the wealth from the people. And it's classical. This is layman's terms, by the way. I'm not going into names or great depths in history. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable with that. I just know the broad strokes. Anyway, the French Revolution was the culmination of dissidents in the populace for the super wealthy and rich, especially the king. It was a monarchy. It was ruled totally by the king. I think he had a small number of people below him that had huge power as well, and then everybody below them basically had no power. So the people wanted the power back, and that's basically what the rise of the revolution was. And the people basically taking back power from the elite, so to speak. And France was very unique with this in Europe at the time. Hence the huge response. So you have the Prussian Empire, the Prussians, you have the Austrian Empire, you have Spain, of course, you have England, Great Britain, Russia. All those countries were like monarchies and ruled, by basically one person. And so the French Revolution was, they wanted to reinstate a sort of electorate for the people, basically. So you could say it's sort of a early start of democracy that changed a lot in Europe. So yeah, this is going to be a dive, man. I'm going to learn a lot about history playing these games. I want to share with you guys, and any of you who are experts and just sort of laughing at me now, this guy knows nothing, I know everything. Please give me some input and stuff, and write in comments and stuff. And I still haven't actually decided on what battle to play and portray in this. For you people who really know this, we're going to go through it all in this. This is going to be just an introductory video. So I'm not going to do actually any gameplay here. We're just going to look at the game, what you get with it, what I usually do, and, what the heck, what's going on here. Basically have a look at the game. So, well, for all you my hardcore followers who've seen all my Let's Plays and stuff, you know the deal, what the game looks like as you open it up. This is the default sort of engine that Wargame Design Studio uses for basically all of their title. Maybe the naval campaigns and stuff are a bit different, actually. I think I've showcased some of those on my channel as well. But the last time I actually did a showcase of campaign Leipzig was 2 years ago, man. Or maybe even more. So the game has gone through huge upgrades and stuff in these 2 years. I mean, Wargame Design Studio is busy, man. They are doing stuff for these games all the time. Making them more and more accurate and more in depth, and putting like new graphics and sounds, and they're constantly giving us some good evolution of these games. So we're gonna have a look at what actually comes. So there is a campaign, besides I think something like 26, 27, 28 famous battles that took place in this first year span. I think it's from 1793 to about 1800. Actually, it says here you can see 92 to 8. So it's the War of the First Coalition, and the Second Coalition actually started here as well, but it's not covered in this game. It's going to be more in the next title, so to speak. So you may look at this and see that there's 197 scenarios. Don't be fooled. There's not actually 197 engagements to play here. There are those famous battles that I said. I think there's like 27, 28. I'm not sure. We're going to check the file later on. But as you can see, the Battle of Valmy, for instance, has... what is there? Nine different versions of this particular battle, man. So this is how it's going. And then you have Jameps, loads of different, Neerwinden, Primassens, Kaiserlauten, how do you pronounce that? Tourcoing, loads, man. Look at all them. So many different versions there. Tournai, Fleurs, loads, Aldenhoven, first Alkenkirchen, Ellingen, Neersheim, Amberg, Wolfsburg, Emmendingen, Ostrach, First Stockach, Winterthur, Zurich, Bergen, Castricum. Second Zurich, loads there, man. Engen-Mess, not sure what that is. Second Engen, Stock Engen, all right, okay. Engen, lots of stuff going on there apparently. Maaskirch, Biberach, Neuburg, Ampfing, Hohenlinden, as you can see. And they have some bonus scenarios as well. It's pretty cool stuff. They have like sort of some scenarios you can just duke out for fun, basically. They have some of those included. And here's something here. I'm not sure what this is. Campaign situations. Okay, so they actually included the campaign situations as well that you can play in the campaign mode. So they have lots of different versions of these famous battles. So it's basically huge dive into the first coalition and sort of the first battles from the French there. Right, so the campaign game. Let's just open it. So they have 4 campaigns. So they have the battles of the War of the First Coalition. They have the Rhine campaign. Then they had the Rhine campaign again, and then the Rhine. This is when you could say France was on the offensive versus those other empires or major powers of Europe were fighting them. So these are the continuation fights, basically. They are, I think they're just sort of situation campaigns. So I don't think casualties carry over, because there's quite a long time span between some of these battles that took place. So the forces would have been replenished their ranks and stuff. But they are situation campaigns. It's actually a really good article about this on Wargame Design Studio about their campaign modes and what you can expect and stuff. So do read that. Go into I'm going to link the Wargame Design Studio webpage in the description of this video, so you can go in and look at the news. They have articles about campaigns, really good to get a grasp. But I'm 99.9% sure that these are situation campaigns, which means you have to make a strategic decision. Usually there's only like 2 or 3 different you can choose in a particular battle what the forces are doing, and you could, in that sense, play an alternate version of the historical battle. But the casualties and stuff don't carry over if planning to play like a career campaign, basically. All right, so that is what you get with the campaigns. You have campaign editors. I've never messed around with these, but people who love this stuff can go into that and read about it in the manual. I don't know anything about it because I've never designed my own campaign or done any scenarios and stuff, but the option is here, which is pretty cool. This is very kind of an important file. So we're at 407.2 now in the Napoleonic Wars battles series. So this is the most current recent version they have. I can't for my life remember when I covered Leipzig, but I think this is 2 years ago, man. It must have been something around like version 4 or something, man. It was a very old. Could be maybe all the way back here. So you can see that there is a lot that happened in the game in that time. Huge upgrades. You can actually check these out on the webpage. You can download these from the game page and have a read. So, I mean, they have apparently done some huge adjustments to the AI recently, because they've gotten a lot of slack about that, about the AI performing poorly. But I think they've done some major changes. I'm feeling the changes in some of their latest releases now, that the AI is actually putting up. It's acting smarter. It's not doing stupid things, and not so much as it did before. Obviously, I mean, you will never be able to get an AI that is better than someone who really has like a human opponent. Maybe, in some games, but I think you need to invest a shitload of money and a lot of stuff to get like a super super intelligent AI. And what fun would it be to play versus computer and always get thrashed? I mean, sometimes you want to win, right? Anyways, so lots of bug fixes and stuff, and tweaks and adjustments of the special rules and stuff. So huge changes to the game has been made, and we're going to be seeing that. And probably while I'm covering these games, this series, there's going to be even more, patches coming out probably. Right, the designer notes, man. Always have a look at the designer notes. So they're pretty good, man. They're covering basically what the game is all about. So they have it's spanning from the French Revolutionary Wars from 1792 to the conclusion of the fields of Hohenlinden in 1800. So it says more than just a companion game to the campaign Marengo, it defines the era more precisely with the evolution of the French army of the levy en masse, first and second amalgamations, and the professional army became by the end of the war of the second coalition. Yeah, so that's when Napoleon also, at this time, Napoleon is not the supreme commander. He's a nobody in the start. He was a artillery officer, I read, as the war broke out. But he proved himself very capable in the beginning stages of the wars, and he rose fairly quickly in the ranks. And by I think about 1800, just before 1800, actually, when the campaign for the Rhine, he was very successful in northern Italy, fighting the Austrians, I think, and that's where he really made a name for himself. And that's later on when he was actually a defender of the new ruling of France. He was like their champion commander, basically. And he did the bidding to police and to, defend the Constitution, basically. And after his campaign in Egypt, right after that, he went back to France and he basically made himself emperor for life for France. And then we have all those famous 15 years of war before he was finally sort of defeated by the Seventh Coalition, I think, or something. I can't remember which coalition it was, but he was defeated at the end. As we know, the Battle of Waterloo was the last, and then he was exiled. So he was a nobody here, and there's going to be a bunch. There was a bunch of other famous French commanders at this time as well, and he did have his entourage of really famous commanders that we're going to be finding out. I don't know them by heart, so much to keep track of. I'm not actually a historian, but I love history. Anyway, we all know that La Grande Armée he had, because when France was sort of threatened, they did a mass mobilization and got like a huge army, and they really went into that, and that's how they could sort of fight these coalitions of armies. And of course they had a good commanders, and sort of a new sort of era of warfare evolved. The use of skirmishers and light infantry played a huge part in the early warfare, because the French was sort of the first to sort of utilize that to actually have harassing infantry taking cover and firing at your average Prussian soldier standing in line just waiting for orders. Picking them off and shooting them before they actually get the order. All right, now you can advance, and like half the regiment's been killed already. So, they were the first to sort of use that. You could basically say that that's what the in the American Revolution, that's what the American revolutionaries used against the British as well, and the French over there, and their precious, to overthrow, was using sort of lightly armed skirmish infantry that actually used cover and weren't fighting fair as probably a British officer of the time would say, "Oh dear, they are hiding behind the rocks, sir." you know, and they're standing on the field all in neat lines, just waiting for the old advance and shoot each other to pieces. So I mean, it was a big change in war, and also the use of artillery and cavalry changed a lot. I mean, artillery was huge now. To use your artillery at the right time, the right place, was usually like devastating and very decisive in many of these engagements. Artillery started to play a huge role, when to use it and when not to use it. And of course, cavalry was, especially the hussars and like light cavalry and harassing and yeah, I mean, we're actually going away from the era of heavy cavalry with the huge cumbersome armors and lances and stuff. You're using more a different kind of shock tactics that they had before. It's very much evolving. You don't have pike masses and stuff, and the introduction of the bayonet came, and using a bayonet was just as good as a pike, basically, when fending off cavalry and stuff. So, I mean, this is the era, definitely, that shaped modern warfare, you could say, in a sense. And also how units moved into square formations, line formation, column formations. So it's kind of complex. It's just a lot of things to keep track of. I would say that you probably would need to, do a bit of reading, or watch some documentaries and stuff about this era of tactics, because it's just actually a very good. Now I'm referring back to Wargame Design Studio page. If you check the news, they actually had some really good articles published there concerning tactics of the Napoleonic era, and they're really good read. I do advise you to read them before you actually dive into the games. Of course, you can learn the game and sort of devise your own tactics. Why not? But it helps a lot to have a good read about it and know basically what every unit is supposed to be doing on the battlefield. Yeah, so it starts off, the first campaigns, they're 1792 to 94, the early campaigns, and they have these two, Valmy and Gemeps, two very decisive engagements in 92 there. So you can see there's actually quite, this was the 20th of September, this is November, so there wasn't that huge between, but it's only two engagements. And then you have, March 1793, so there's a huge jump from that battle there. But what's good about the Almighty Notes is that it's all chronologically written here and explained. If you don't feel like reading tons of books and stuff about it, you can have like a really good overview of this. So they have the Rhine campaign, the final segment of the War of the First Coalition is still in 1796 there. That's when actually France was on the offensive and taking territories, actually gaining territories. So there was quite a few engagement there. Then they had the Rhine campaign of 1799. So it was not longer after that the Allies formed the second. So they have some of the second coalition here. Russia would be a major player, sending troops of the northern Italy and then Germany. Archduke Charles would once again command the Austrian army in the German theatre war. He was faced by Jourdan, Moreau, and later Massena. So the British were the ones who were actually at war with France through the whole period. I think Spain and some jumped out after the first coalition was done. So there's sort of a shift in different countries or areas that were at war with France during this time. So here you have the battles in Germany and Switzerland, quite a few engagements, and they have the Noord-Holland campaign. So the French actually tried to annex these areas and have a sort of sphere of French influence in these countries or areas. So here it keeps going. You have the Rhine campaign of 1800. So this was in the northern Italy. This is where actually Napoleon was making a name for himself. So they have, these are the battles in Germany. Okay. Okay, so then it goes the battle. What's this? Was the final battle of the war, Second Coalition, French Revolutionary War, simply put. So maybe they don't have those Napoleonic ones. As you can see, I'm not very hugely familiar with some of these battles here. Looks like they only have the battles in Germany here. So they might not have those in the northern Italy. They might actually have that in the next installment there. So anyway, they have something about artworks, and yeah, balloons. This was something I didn't know about, that the French actually was using balloons for the first time in war as reconnaissance. So they didn't have airplanes, obviously, but they did have balloons, and they were used as reconnaissance. I think they made like 2 flights a day, and they sort of, when they landed, so obviously it was like delayed reconnaissance, but still reconnaissance from a fairly safe height, the balloon. I don't think the musket could reach that far up, and firing cannons in that angle would be pretty tough. So anyway, so they have that included, which is pretty cool, I think. Something about the night turn length update. So they have 30-minute night turns here, 60 minutes in many of the 50-minute turns. So there's something you have to keep track of when you're playing battles. Just look at the parameter data. It's usually always there. So Almighty Notes, man, really good. Gives you good chronological overview of what the heck was going on. So main program help files. These are, as I've showed before, here you have, so there's terrain effect charts, unit status effects, weapon effect charts, and hotkeys in here. So this is if you want to crunch your numbers and have a look, so it's all here for people who want to go real hardcore and read all about that. Campaigns, getting started is good. I think I played it. I'm not sure if I actually, yeah, I think I did. So I have some. It was a pretty cool battle, man. It was pretty tough. I think I got my ass kicked, but I'm learning. I probably will in some of these Let's Plays, because I think it takes a bit of a mastery to get a hang of this game if you want to play it as historically accurate as possible. So, but it was a fun scenario to play. So, user manual these days is not. I mean, it's 108 pages, so not that huge. It's doable. And of course, they have all these quick clicks to get into different. Different kinds of what you want to look up, basically. So, for instance, let's see if I want to look up I want to find the optional rules. So I can't find it right off the bat. Maybe it's not actually in the manual. It could be in that other one. So let's go optional rules. Right. Yeah, here we go. Right. So they're boom. Right. Here you go. Got it all here. And this is the latest update as well. We're going to be seeing that in the game. When you hover, you can actually hover over these rules now in game to get a quick overview what they're about. You don't actually have to jump back and forth in the manual all the time. But you have all the descriptions right here about the optional rules, which can be very handy. Then they have a lot of stuff in this title, by the way. It's loaded with cool stuff, man, and history and stuff. So they have this situation maps. This is really nice. I think this is good for people like me who are not very familiar with all this stuff, and you don't maybe want to read like a 500-page book about Napoleonic Wars, or watch 1,000 documentaries. It's all here. Basically, they have a history lesson for you on what actually happened during the different campaigns and stuff. So this example is the campaign of 1792, the Prussian offensive and the French response. So the Prussians actually went in, because they declared war on France basically because they wanted, monarchy back. Uh, and France actually threatened many of these countries around that, hand over your noblemen and we'll lob their heads off, basically. And of course, they would have none of that. So they wanted to, subdue France and reinstate. But the king was actually killed. He tried to escape, but he was caught and beheaded, public execution style. And that really put a rage on many of the other monarchies around, and so this was like a trigger to invade France and subdue the people. But we all know they failed in that. So, but they have this really well, these really cool campaign situations. They have the 17. So that was the 92 to 94. This is the 96. The Rhine campaign. So it starts off. You have situation is the 1st of June to 9th of July. So Kleber's attack at Altenkirchen catches the Austrians off balance. Charles moves north and defeats Jordan at Wetzlar. His army retreats behind the Rhine. Moreau crosses the Rhine. Charles moves south but loses at Ettingen. So it's all like sort of summarized here. And then they have Mainz, Schweinfurt, Nuremberg, Ratzburg, these major cities in the area here. So really cool, man. It's all here. They have a couple of these. Northern Holland. So this is the Dutch campaign here. Really beautiful, well made. I really like this stuff. So they have the 1800 here. So I wonder why. Yeah, this should be it. Maybe not. It's the Nabe there. Yeah, so not sure. But they have it all here. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm going to have to read up on this stuff, man. They also have lots of these manuals. So this is the Austrian Hussars late period. Okay, this doesn't say anything, but a bunch of numbers. But not really sure what that is, man. Cavalry regiment. Okay, so this is sort of Hussars, cavalry, all right. Hotkey manual, very good for people who like to use hotkeys. I like to use hotkeys actually, but I never use them in the Wargame Design Studio games. I love it's a click game, man, for me, but they have a lot of actual hotkeys. I use some like next unit and stuff, like this advanced the hotspot to the next stack. This is used a lot for me. Scrolling through units, and of course the control button for firing or moving. So what's this? Okay, here we have some hardcore stuff again. So unit listing, what does it say? 3 years I've used standard format for building templates text file to be used in building the order of battles. These files were built to make an initial determination on the various values of each unit. So, wow, look at this. If we want to look up French, actually, let's look up the Prussian. Why not? Okay, so you have infantry values, Jägers, cavalry, engineers. So they have it here if you want to like check the numbers and stuff. Armies. This is a pretty cool one. This is for the armies of the Republic and Bayonets. So this is the artwork of like. So we have the army of the French Republic. So the line infantry, different sort of uniforms. Line, and this is the light infantry. The National Guard, Garde Director. Okay, cavalry uniforms, dragoons, chasseurs, gendarmes, cavalry and carabiniers, hussars. Look at all this stuff. Every army here is represented. Woohoo! Look at all that. That's so cool. Artwork? What's this? Okay, so here we go. Republic of Beyonets. Okay, so we have... Not really sure, man. This looks pretty hardcore. Different sort of guides, I guess. Battles. This is good. This one's really good. So this is... The document gives the players of Republic of Bayonets and Rhine an overview of the 20... So there's 28 battles, all right, contained in the game. A battlefield map, background, and the battle, the size of each side are listed to help the players get to know the background of each battle. Very handy. Very, very handy. So, look at this, man. Really good stuff. So we have the Battle of Valmy, the first battle depicted. This was actually the first major engagement between the French and the First Coalition. And there never was a real clash here. The French sort of dominated artillery positions, and the Prussians were sort of reluctant to attack. They did, but they were caught in some murderous artillery fire, and they sort of pulled back, didn't commit the whole force. So, you know, it was a French victory because they had to leave the battlefield there. And the Battle of Jamet. So they have those two battles there, and it just keeps going, man. So it's all here, all the battles, descriptions. Okay, look at this. They even have the forces here. So French at 53,000, the others at 56. Very even numbers there. The Battle of Ampig. So they had French and allies there. Okay. Battle of Neuberg. So it's a description of the battle there. It's really cool. So very handy file, this, man. Very handy. Bonus items. What's this? Okay, yeah. So here it explains what I briefly was, if you're still around, watching this, of me talking. They have those situations for what those battles that are sort of bonus they have included. So it's pretty cool. They have that as well. Wow, let's see. I mean, this is good as well, I think. A guide to Republican. So this is sort of a short guide, sort of how to tackle this game. They advise you to play the tutorial scenario. They advise you to have a look at the situation maps. They advise you to have a look at the game documentations, like the manual and stuff. And then the scenario and campaign list, which we have already watched, and the historical battles, designer notes, artwork, game aid charts. So this is a very good sort of document to sort of help you in what order, how to tackle the game. And it just goes on and on. I'm not sure I want to show all these, man, but you know, there's loads here. Leader list. This looks fun. Look at this. Leclerc. There he is, young Napoleon there. Okay, so yeah, look at all this, all these leaders here, man. It's pretty cool. The amount of research, man, it's insane. OB Compendium, what's this? Okay, so this is Order of Battle Compendium. Okay, so here you can have a look at all the different formations, man. So if we look at all the different battles, sorry. So if we look at Wolfsburg, for instance, you have the brigade commanders, all the basically order of battle of all the forces involved. You have Ney. He became a very famous commander later on. So very cool, man. I think Napoleon was a divisional commander. He was given command of a division, but I'm not sure. Might be talking bullshit there, but I think he was. Scenario campaign lists. Okay, that's interesting. So, okay, look at this. A scenario list of Republican Bayonets and Rhine includes 28 historical battles and over 200 scenarios that are in the main folder. So, all right, so, oh wow, look at this. They have all the... Okay, here it is. So they have all... Here it's more of an overview. It's sort of so you can have a look at all the battles of 1792, so, and all the different battles they have in the game that actually cover this. And then they have 1793 there, so it goes on. Pretty cool. So they have even more documentation covering that. What's this? Tech? You got terrain effect charts. Okay, so you can have a look at those. The Battle of Tourcoing. Okay, what's this? So this is more of a deep dive into that particular battle there. Pretty cool. Very cool. So they have even that. Turn tracks. So here they have the different turns. So dawn is between 4 and 21. Turn format, so from 4 o'clock to 9 o'clock in the evening is 10 minutes a turn. So and then so they have different kind of turn formats depending on the scenario. It's very important. Victory points calculator. What's this? Okay, so you have some idea of what kind of points you'll get for like 3 points for 25 men, 6 points a gun. 5 guns is 30. Very interesting. Okay. WEC. Weapons effectiveness chart. Okay, so they have different numbers for all the guns. Pretty cool. Bergen. The Battle of Bergen. Special scenario rules. Yeah, so this is kind of cool though as well. If you want to play with, they have sort of included these special scenario rules for different kinds of scenarios during the game, if you want to sort of play following a set of rules, basically. So, wow, yeah, that as you can see, it comes with a huge supply of information and stuff. It's very, very nice. So, we're going to be choosing a battle here, and I'm going to need you guys' help. I want you guys to write in the comments what battle you want me to play, and the one that's been mentioned the most, I will do a version of. I'll give it a shot. What's good here is I'm obviously not going to be doing a 69 turn let's play. It's going to be taking up like a month to record that. But what they have here is pretty cool. So if we take the Battle of Valmy, for instance, they have a lot of different so they have different versions of this battle. So they have here. Let's start with this. So Valmy, FBH, head to head. So this one is intended to play versus a human opponent then, and this is the historical Battle of Valmy. For historical overview, see RBR Battles PDT, found in the main folder. Note, this battle has been added more for historical purposes and is heavily balanced in favor of the French player. The Allied formations will fix during the battle, reflecting the Duke of Brunswick's hesitancy to commit his army to the battle. We highly recommend that you play one of the many variants of the Battle of Valmy for more enjoyable experience. Okay, so they have a solo version. 69 turns, man. It's quite a long battle there. So this is the intent to play solo as allied player. This is the historical battle for historical view. So, and you'll get fixed unit reflecting Brunswick's hesitancy there. So, and then they have like even more. They have the Battle of Valmy Unleashed. So this is for head to head. So this is the same as in this version of the famous battle. Neither side has fixed units. This will result in a much more interesting battle for both sides. The Allies will still need to attack to take key objectives in order to win. So this is like what if it was an all-out attack and a fight, And here they have another. This is a meeting engagements. The French are able to the French are late to block the Allies. Only a small advance guard brigade of approximately 2,000 men of Kellermann's Armée de Centre is available to delay the advance elements of the Prussian advance guard until more French reinforcements can arrive. Control the main road and hilltop objectives is vital for the Prussians. Dumont's armies arrived in the north. Should they march south or continue on the main road and attack the Allied flank? The Allies are working against time in this battle. So they have different versions here, man. And here's one that is intended to play. In this version of the battle, the Allies have claimed the high ground. The French must defeat them in order to gain the important victory. So this is like, what if they did that? French attack. Then they have something called Into the Valley of Death. All right. 12 turns. This is a head-to-head version. So, they do have a small version usually of these big engagements. So this one here is meant to be played solo. So you intend to play as a solo player. Following the mutual bombardment by the French and the Prussian batteries, the advance guard started forward to the French main positions. Artillery fire soon struck the Prussian battalions. Before it could become a bloodbath, Brunswick wisely called off the attack. This scenario allows the player to see what could have happened had the attack continued. Note, the Prussians were probably advancing in line formation, but for sake of playability, I have deployed them in column. Both sides have about the same amount of forces. So, you could play a smaller version of that. So then they have like a French. The Prussians are get reinforcements, or the French get reinforcements. So then they have the Jamap, same deal here. The huge one. They have different versions of it. They have a smaller one covering for you if you want to play. So this is probably something I would play if you choose. Oh, I want to see you play the Battle of Valmy. I want to see you play Jamaps, or I want to see you play. Maybe not all of them. I might get ahead of myself actually here. But I think they do. So they have the big historical one, and then they have like this one's actually not that long. It's 24. The Battle of Primazens. So this one here, Kaiserlautern, looks huge. So it's 48 turns. They have one actually. Wow, 60 turns. Okay, they don't have actually a particular smaller one here of that engagement, unfortunately. Tourcoing, they have 61, 42. All right, so some of them are quite big. 40 turns on that. Floss 60, 40, 36. Okay, so yeah. So look, do come with some recommendations. What do you want me to play here? And I'll do some research about it and try to portray the battle as good as I can and show game mechanics and try to dive into the tactics of this game, man. It's gonna be fun. So I'm not gonna do any. I'm not gonna do any play in this showcase right now. This was just an introductory video of what's going to be coming up. So. Republican bayonets on the Rhine, man. This would be your first stop of the earliest engagements of the Napoleonic Wars. And then, if you want to play them historically, chronologically, which I'm intend to be doing, and see the evolution of the French army, basically, and the Allies, of course. So, lots of fun, man. So I'm going to end the video here, man, and I think I've covered most of what comes with the game, and then in the next part we're going to do battle, we're going to duke it out, we're going to see the gameplay, we're going to see all the new enhancements they've made to it, and try to get some sense into tactics and how to actually try to win in this game. So I'm going to end it here, man. So do type in the comments and give me some feedback of what you want to see, what battle you want. I think you might have a good overview now of the battles that actually come with the game. So where was that great documentations? Yeah, battles. This one here, man. Okay, so here they are. 28 engagements, and of course those bonus ones, but I think these would be the most interesting to try out. So pause the video, or if you already know a famous battle, do type that in comments. I love your response. I want to thank everybody for watching the channel, liking and subscribing my videos. Really appreciate it. And I'll end this video here, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one and take care.